Look at you, you're just trying to have a good time, yeah. Sip sun to the sunrise. I know you hate to see it, cause I ain't leaving. But let you down, it's the one we've been waiting for. Don't got much of nothing left in me anymore. I can see it all in your eyes.
Hey guys, it's digital reporter Ashley Stevenson, and I am sitting here with one of my favorite R&B singers, Mr. Kenyon Dixon. Hi, Kenyon.
What's up?
I'm super excited to have you today. We are in the Masonic Temple located in downtown Detroit, Michigan, and you are on tour with Ledisi. How are you feeling? How's tour life treating you?
I am, man. Tour has been amazing so far. It's interesting every night, man, to see just how we're getting back into live music. You know, the last year and a half at this point, we've kind of spent in the house. Just everything was kind of unprecedented. We didn't really know what was gonna happen or what to expect. So it's been cool to get out there every night and just see people enjoy themselves. I think we miss being around each other and like corporately being able to share these experiences. So it's been amazing, man.
I completely agree with that. I had the opportunity to talk to Ledisi this week, and she said that kind of similar to you, that she didn't expect to see so many people coming out and supporting. And I told her, I think one thing about you and her is there's just this authenticity that people relate to and your transparency. So since you've been in COVID and you've been creating, what do you feel like has kept you motivated while being in the house?
Man, you know, so here's the thing, coming from right before COVID kind of, or the quarantine rather, started, and we were locked in with that. I was just coming off of the road from touring for like the last 3 years, like straight. So I really needed that time in the house. You never really realize you need it when you're out, like going and going and going. But I think that was probably the most creative I had been, because I got a chance to just sit and enjoy my home base, my actual surroundings. And there's so much like beauty in your space if you take care of it. And I missed it because I was, again, just out on the road forever. And so it was just cool to be able to be home. And I'm a father, so that also played a huge part in, thank you, I appreciate it. That also played a huge part in being able to create, because they're like, you know, those now moments, like as they're happening, inspiration is coming in real time. Just I draw from everything, like not just from music or just creative stuff, but just how I experience life. So fatherhood and parenting for sure had contributed a lot to the music I was putting out. A lot of the love that's in my music is genuine. It comes from, you know, having to love and being loved as well. So yeah, I had ways to stay busy for sure. Yeah.
I was listening to you talk, and we talk about realness and we talk about transparency. And I know Tank kind of coined this idea of this real R&B. And when I think about true R&B, I think about artists such as yourself. So to you, what does real R&B mean?
So I think when people, all right, so I try and break this down the best that I can. So R&B is really just a derivative of church. To know church is to know rhythm and blues. We think about a lot of the great artists and creatives, they came out of the church. So when people talk about the R&B that they love, typically referring to, like, you know, the 90s was like prime time for R&B for our generation especially. And so a lot of the times they're only referencing the conviction of the music. And that conviction came from people's actual spiritual connections. They were in church. And because of that, they were able to put that into the music. And so what happened, the church experience is different. Church is not the same. There's a different type of conviction. The corporate ship is extremely different. And then you take into consideration having to do it virtually for the past year. And then you expect people to create music that reflects that. But music, the art, is only a reflection of the time. So people are only writing about their experiences. So when you think about those core elements of R&B, you know, you got vulnerability, you have love. Love is a huge part, and love encompasses so much stuff. It's not just romance. And so then you have, you know, we love chords, we love actual musicality, we love singing, vocals. Those are elements of real R&B to me that has been present throughout every genre. So I think when that's not present, that's when I question if something is R&B. But I will say, even now, I think there are tons of artists, a lot of my contemporaries, who are putting out great music really solid R&B music, but again, the experience for the masses has changed, so their attraction to music is different. So, we you get a lot of people saying like R&B is dead or it's missing. It's not that. It's just that people are not living the love that we grew up hearing about. So because that experience changed, you're only getting the music that these people are actually living. So I think that's but those core elements of classic R&B never gonna change.
You know what? And this is why I say because this is true artistry, you know? When somebody starts talking to you about church and how the core and the musicality and the artistry of it all, this is why you're one of my favorites. And I was listening to you speak and you talk about church. And one of my other favorite artists has a song called Church, who you also have a song with, and that's BJ the Chicago Kid. And so you and him and PJ, we had the pleasure of talking to PJ and BJ when they were on tour earlier this summer. So you guys have a song together right now that you have submitted also for a Grammy. And you also have 4 submissions. Let's talk a little bit about that. Obviously, if I'm a part of the Academy, go ahead and give it to them now. But how does it feel to be in consideration for that right now? How are you feeling?
Man, it's an amazing feeling because I've been a voting member for the Academy for some time, and so to submit my own music now is a whole different feeling. To have people be able to consider that, I think it's awesome. But what makes it even greater is it's a great record with really great people like PJ and BJ and Charlie Burrell. Those are my brothers who I respect as artists and creatives, and so I think it's even more dope that I'm getting a chance to experience this project and this process with people who make really great music, and that's what we all have in common, and that's why we came together. Like, what we pride ourselves in is, aside from the hype of anybody as an artist, we think we like each other and we like what we do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I think the process has just been great, man. Me, PJ, and BJ and Charlie, we tap into our group chat every once in a while just to stir it up. Like, yo, y'all ready? And, you never really know what to expect. But I think what's amazing, even with the submissions myself, I put out Expectations, which I feel like is my greatest work to date. And so, thank you.
Trust issues is part of my life. Trust issues is something that I can't lie. It's definitely been on repeat. I spent the weekend in New York, and I hipped a couple of my friends to it. I'm like, it's really a vibe. So let's talk about Expectations. Kind of what was your muse behind that? Because musically, I will say this was a cut that I felt I got a different side of you. And I was like, ooh, Kenyon kind of touching on some nerves on this one. You always kind of connect with us. So I'm not surprised about that. But what were you thinking when you were creating Expectations?
My single greatest inspiration for the album was to shut up the conversation about there being a lack of the presence of rhythm and blues. Every day I'm online, I see so many conversations about people saving or reviving R&B, which was never dead, never needed saving. Nobody is saving anything. There's music out, it's always been out. But my thing was, you can either keep having the conversation or you could put out the work. If you're capable of it, then what are you arguing about? Just put out music. That's what, we're creative, so we should be creating. So for me, Expectations was my way of saying, okay, look, I see the conversations. I've already put out music like that, but I'm going to do this project specifically for y'all that showcases all of these elements of rhythm and blues that we're saying we miss, because then after this we shouldn't be saying that there's a lack of it. And so it stuck. It really stuck. It was an interesting time, man. And at the time it started off as a Switch EP, and so there were just 5 records, and I went from there and we turned it into an album. And literally, to date, whether it's my music or anybody else's music, I've never seen an album have such a long shelf life in my life. Like, every day, new people are finding the album like I didn't put it out almost a year ago. And it's mind-blowing to me when I get online and people are like, yo, I just discovered this album, Expectations. And I'm like, that's wild, because this music is like a year old, you know?
So good. I feel like your music is always timeless. I was telling a few of the guys here before we got on camera that I still run Superfly back. You know, I really do. I still run it back. And every time I hear, you know, sky is the limit, now give me all. And I'm like, yo, Kenyon is so I can't sing, obviously, but I'm like, you know, I'm like, Kenyon is so fly. And I love that you said that R&B doesn't need saving, because I think there is this constant conversation like it's not already artists that are already out. And I'm like, and if you guys keep put the right people at the forefront of the conversation, we don't have to keep having it. Doesn't need saving. The heroes are already here. They've been here. And I think that speaks to your longevity in this music business, because I don't think people know that you are also capable. You're not only an artist, but you're a producer, you're a writer. You've done work with, I think it was like Justin Timberlake too. And who else have you worked with?
Man, Justin, Chrisette Michelle, Faith Evans, Mary J. Blige, Tyrese, Tank, Genuine. Also, that's a testament to why I create R&B. I've had the chance to work with like some prime R&B figures, and I've also toured with a lot of them. Like I toured one of my longest gigs when I was a background vocalist. I started off with Tyrese. And then I went on to write a lot of his music, and as well as TGT's album. So touring with Tank, Genuine, and Tyrese together as a young R&B singer, I mean, what better examples do you get? I'm looking at it firsthand. This is what I consider R&B, and I got a chance to get some free game firsthand from these guys. So that's why I pride myself in the music that I make. But yes, it's been I've been able to work with a lot of them and take those experiences and personalize them and put them into my music as well.
Yeah, I love that. So one last thing, you said they put you on a lot of free game. Give our people some free game right now. Give me some words of wisdom from Kenyon Dixon.
Man, I tell you one thing I'll say with creating music. First, put it out, because a lot of people, you know, we get in our heads, creatives, about the music that we create. And if you think about it, everything is hypothetical until you actually put some music out. So you can say what you think is going to happen. But again, you don't know until you actually release something. And so I think a lot of people, they go after, I just wish we understood like now moments, because a lot of people go after what's hot, what's popular. And you got to think about the fact that what you're listening to that you feel like is a wave was probably something that people have been in the studio working on for a year or so, and it's finally out. So those crazy ideas that you have that you feel like, this doesn't sound like anything anybody else is doing and nobody wants this right now, that's literally what music needs. Because if you're listening to something, that means that it already happened. You can't go back. So there's no way to get in on that moment, because literally that now moment has passed. So it's constantly going. So I would encourage anybody, man, if you have any ideas, and this is outside of music, whatever ideas you have, anything that feels, I don't even want to say like that doesn't feel tangible, but anything that feels different, man, that's a vision. That's what a vision is. God will never give you something that somebody else already has. So it's just it's just important to stay on top of your vision, identify your vision, your purpose, believe in that, and spend your time perfecting that, not trying to align it or be parallel to what somebody else has already done, because they already have a new vision deposited that they're working to get out. So, that would be my that's my free game.
Okay, I thank you for your free game. I also want to say your new single "Morning After" is out. It's also a classic favorite. I watched the video. You was kind of crawling on doing your little Prince thing, It was definitely giving me Prince vibes. So congratulations on all your success. And I just want to talk to people out there, because I know you said you've been touring for the last few years. You're on tour right now with Ledisi. How do you want people to leave after they see you on tour? What do you want it to feel like to them?
Man, that's a great question. For myself, I would say my goal overall with my music is to reflect life. I think we feel so many different ways throughout the day. So when I create music, however you're feeling, I want to be able to have something sonically that you're able to go to relate to. Like I would like to, as an artist, I pride myself in in totality as far as my bodies of work, being able to have something that you can always identify with. So when people come to see Kenyon Dixon live and they leave, I just want them just to be hopeful that there's still like the music that we love, the R&B that we love, as I say, is there. Like you're able to experience it, and I want you to be able to listen and still get that same experience. Because you experienced it. We're talking about new fans. You experienced it at a heightened level, because live, it's I'm always gonna give you more than what's there, but you should still be able to go and listen to that and get that same kind of energy. So yeah, I think that's the takeaway, that good music still exists.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck. Much success to you and your Grammy submissions. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Kenyon.